The Iowa High School Athletic Association is proud to partner with the Iowa Football Coaches Association in producing this video on blocking, tackling, carrying the football, and the proper fitting of equipment in the game of football. The Iowa High School Athletic Association and the Iowa Football Coaches Association want each of you to know that safety in the game of football is the #1 priority and of utmost importance in the game of high school football. It all begins with coaching the proper skills and techniques. Blocking and tackling must be taught in accordance to NFHS football playing rules. The officials also play a major role in the game of football as it relates to safety and the enforcement of the rules. Officials must understand the legal technique used for blocking and tackling and enforce illegal acts when they occur. In an effort to minimize the risk of catastrophic head and neck injuries, the NFHS Football Rules Committee, the IHSAA, and the Iowa Football Coaches Association continue to urge keeping the head out of football. While the wearing of a football helmet can never guarantee the elimination of head and neck injuries, all levels of football have increased their focus on reducing these types of injuries as much as possible. It is recognized that one of the biggest steps in that endeavor is to eliminate direct helmet-to-helmet contact and any other contact both with and to the helmet. Direct helmet-to-helmet contact and any other contact with and to the helmet must be eliminated from the sport of football at the interscholastic level. Using the helmet to inflict punishment on the opponent is dangerous and illegal. Coaches and game officials must be diligent in promoting the elimination of contact to and with the helmet as follows. Coaches, through consistent adherence to proper and legal coaching techniques. Game officials, through strict enforcement of pertinent playing rules and game administrations. Coaches must insist that players play heads-up football by utilizing proper and safe techniques, not only during games, but on the practice field as well. Coaches must shoulder the responsibility of consistently reinforcing with their players that using the top or face of the helmet goes against all tenets of the basic techniques of safe and legal blocking and tackling. The #1 responsibility for game officials must be player safety. Any initiation of contact with the helmet is illegal, therefore it must be penalized consistently and without warning. Player safety is really a matter of attitude, technique, attention, and supervision. Football players will perform as they are taught. Therefore, there must be a concentrated focus on consistently enforcing the existing rules. And contrary to most other rule enforcements, when in doubt, contact to and with the helmet must be ruled as a foul by game officials. Contact to and with the helmet may be considered a flagrant act and may be penalized by disqualification if a game official considers the foul so severe or extreme that it places the player and or the opponent in a danger of serious injury. Consistent education, recognition, and penalty enforcement of contact to and with the helmet must be adhered to throughout practice time and contests regardless of the situation. Whether it is in the first practice, last practice, first quarter of the first game, or overtime of the state championship game, contact to and with the helmet must be discouraged and taken out of the game by coaches, players, and game officials. It is hoped that this concentrated approach will be a positive step toward reinforcing player safety. The Iowa High School Athletic Association and the Iowa Football Coaches Association continue to work together to promote the great sport of high school football, keeping in mind the best interest of the athlete and the integrity of the game. Your attention to this important aspect of football and the emphasis placed on this part of the game is certainly appreciated. We hope each of you have a great year.
I'm Barry Scott, head coach, Hudson High School.
I'm Luke Huber, Hudson High School.
I'm Drew Slinky, Hudson High School.
These are the key points for effective, legal, and safe closed or cupped hand blocking. The elbows may be inside or outside the shoulders. The hands must be closed or cupped with the palms not facing the opponent. The forearms are extended no more than 45 degrees from the body. Fire off the ball and make first contact with your shoulder and hands, not the head. Keep the head and eyes up, back straight, and aim for the opponent's numbers. Do not lead with the head or make first contact with the helmet or face mask. These are the key points for effective open hand blocking. The hands shall be in advance of the elbow. The hands shall be open when the palms are facing the frame of the opponent or when the forearms are extended beyond the 45-degree angle from the body. The hand or hands shall be inside the frame of the blocker's body. The frame of the blocker's body is the front of the body at or below the shoulders. The hands shall be inside the frame of the opponent's body, except when the opponent turns his back to the blocker during the block or after the blocker is committed to his charge. The frame of the opponent's body is at the shoulders or below other than the back. The hand shall be at or below the shoulders of the blocker and the opponent, except when the opponent squats, ducks, or submarines during the block or after the blocker is committed to his charge. This is an example of holding. Coaches, you cannot accept abusive or illegal contact at any time. Officials, illegal contact must be penalized every time it occurs.
Steve Milner, head football coach, West Central Blue Devils.
Caleb Keim, Jr., West Central Blue Devils.
James Neiman, sophomore, West Central Blue Devils.
When tackling the big bag, the drill we're running, the key is the front of the shoulder pads, rolling the hips, and eyes to the sky on contact. Again, we're going to hit with the front of the shoulder pads, we're going to roll our hips and eyes to the sky. Good job. The sweep drill is very important that the hands start at the pockets and they're punched through, keeping tight. Getting your arms wide will force your head and shoulders down. We don't want our head and shoulders coming down. So we punch through, we work from a lower plane to a higher plane, giving it a sweeping action. So like the first drill, it's going to be front of the shoulder pads, roll the hips. But we're going to start with the hands at the pocket, we're going to punch through, and we're going to sweep the bag up and run with it. Again, keeping the bag close to our body so we roll our hips properly. Okay, we want your good athletic position. We have Z in our legs. You want your hands tight to your body so you can punch through. As you step, you're trying to step on the feet of the guys that you're tackling, and you want to run through. We're working from a lower plane to a higher plane. On contact, your eyes will go to the sky, and you have a sweeping action. You're working from the position you want to be in at contact in a game. Get in that position. Perfect fit. It's really important in this drill that as you get to the man, you sink your hips and you go from a lower plane to a higher plane. We want that same sweeping action that we got in just the stationary drill, the perfect fit drill. Okay, it's really important here that the tackler sink his hips prior to impact, and you're working again from a lower plane to a higher plane. A running back coming up in the air loses momentum. Okay, when we do an angle tackle, it's very, very important that the tackler cross the midline of the ball carrier, putting his chest on chest. He does not lead with his head, but you lead with your chest on chest. It's important when you make an angle tackle that you tackle with your body. Often people yell, get your head in front of the man. Get your head in front of the man. Here is a poor tackle. And just the head in front is not what we want. It's very, very important. If you're hearing people yell, put your face in the numbers, that is an illegal tackle. You cannot use your face mask or your helmet as a first contact point. Tackler, never lead with their helmet, never hit with the top of your head, forehead.
I'm Adam Squires, defensive coordinator, center point Urbana, Storm and Pointers.
I'm Gage Silker, center point Urbana, Storm and Pointers.
Dalton Kress, center point Urbana, Storm Pointers.
These are the key points for effectively, legally, and safely carrying the football. Cover the point of the ball with the armpit and the hand, hands, and forearm. Keep the head and eyes up. When making contact with the opponent, keep the head up, lean forward, make contact with the shoulder, and keep the feet moving. Do not duck or drop the head when making contact. Illegal helmet contact is an act of initiating contact with the helmet against the opponent. There are several types of illegal helmet contact. Butt blocking is an act by an offensive or defensive player who initiates contact against an opponent who is not a runner with the front of his helmet. Face tackling is an act by a defensive player who initiates contact with a runner with the front of his helmet. Spearing is an act by an offensive or defensive player who initiates contact with an opponent with the top of his helmet.
I'm Jill Hendricks, the athletic trainer at Linn-Mar High School.
I'm Kyle Hayek, Linn-Mar Lions.
I'm Ryan Schmidt, Linn-Mar Lions.
Coaches, before you issue your helmet to your players, the first thing you need to do is examine the helmet. Look on the outside. Are there cracks? Is there any way the helmet has been damaged? Look on the outside. The face mask, is everything the way it should be? Is this legal? Is it legal to play with this in this condition? You also want to look on the inside of the helmet. Are all the parts working as they should be? Are they inflated? Are there any deformities inside the helmet? Are any of the bladders broken? Are there any parts of the outside, the screws that are missing? All of those things are very, very important before you issue a helmet to an athlete to try on. Make sure you look on the back of the helmet here, and we see that there is a certified sticker on there. Make sure you check the date on the sticker. Remember, a helmet is only good for 10 years, and the date of the initial date it was made is on the back, as well as there will be a sticker saying it has been reconditioned in what year. As long as the NOC SAE is stamped on the back of the helmet, this helmet is certified. It's been put through much testing to make sure it is safe for your athletes. Coaches, once you have looked over the helmet and feel that it's safe for the athlete to be wearing for games and practices, next we want to make sure everything fits the way it should. A proper helmet should have all 4 snaps of the chin strap attached to the helmet, snap properly. We should be able to push on the helmet, not much movement at all with the forehead here. We should be able to look at the ears, the ear holes here. The ear holes should match up with the athlete's ear hole as well. The face mask should be not down in front of his eyes. It should be fitted just like this. You should be able to grab the face mask to test to make sure this is a properly fitted helmet and be able to move it, and the helmet doesn't move without his head moving. Up and down, side to side. Coaches, once you have the helmet on the athlete, it fits pretty good, but it could be a little bit better if the bladders were inflated with a little bit more air. You can take your helmet pump and stick it in the bladder hole here and gently apply one full pump and then retest the helmet again. If it still moves a little bit, you can pump it up again. You can also take air out of the bladder if it's just a little bit too tight for the athlete. You place the air pump in the back of the helmet and open the valve and let some air out and then tighten it back up. Again, you would want to retest the helmet and the stability of it on the athlete before giving the athlete the okay. Coaches, when the helmet is on and it fits nice and snug and tight how we want it to be, the athlete should be able to move his head, bringing his head back without any discomfort or pain and returning back to the neutral position. The athlete should have good full range of motion with no discomfort while moving the helmet or head or neck. Coaches, when it comes to fitting your athletes for shoulder pads, obviously you want to look at the size of their chest. We're not going to put a lineman in a size small shoulder pad. That just doesn't make sense. Typically you could go based off their shirt size. You could start with that aspect. You put the shoulder pads on the athlete, obviously like so. You ask them to clip all 4 clips or snaps, or buckle it, whatever's on the shoulder pad for the security purposes. The straps here, obviously, as you can see, are in the shoulder pads. Are attached on the front and the back. It's on both sides. What we're looking for here in a properly fitted shoulder pad is that the side of the shoulder is protected by the pad. You can physically put your hand inside his shoulder pad. You can feel the outside of the shoulder here is protected by the pad. It should line up nicely as so on the outside of the shoulder here. The athlete himself should be able to extend his arms to the side. Bring your arms out to the side. And the shoulder pad should stay in place, protecting the chest area in this way. Obviously, every position is a little bit different. We wouldn't want a quarterback to be fitted in these type of shoulder pads as they are so large when he would try to throw, this would be a little bit too big and in the way. So when you're fitting for shoulder pads, you must take into consideration the position the player will participate in. The NFHS requires all football players to wear knee pads when playing football. They must be thick and covering the patella to protect the knee from injury. When standing, they should fit in your game pants, obviously, and protect the knee from here all the way down to here. At no time should a player cut or trim a knee pad for comfort. When sitting or kneeling, they should also cover the knee just like over here. The NFHS requires all football players to wear padding on their lower body, such as hip pads, thigh pads, tailbone pads. Coaches, you can use these hex pads, or you may also still use the traditional pads that cover these areas as well. Here are 2 examples of illegal equipment. As you can see, this mouthpiece has been cut and altered for comfort of the athlete instead of safety. A mouthguard is intended to protect all teeth. This knee pad has been cut and altered. As you can see, it is not within legal thickness or size of a standardized knee pad. This again is for athletes' style rather than comfort and protection.